Say, Kevin in Houston, how are you?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Very well, thanks.
I have a couple of questions. My first question is, what is your opinion on what the Holy Spirit is? What do you actually think it is? Is it people going nuts and having brain seizures, or you think it's something else?
I'm going to let you take that, Matt.
It depends. I mean, I'm not completely sure. We'd have to define what you're talking about. I mean, the Holy Spirit is used in a bunch of different connotations to a bunch of different religious people. I mean, my girlfriend, by the way, went to an extreme Pentecostal church today where people were supposedly touched by the Holy Spirit and were jumping around and talking in tongues and flopping on the ground. And then there are other people who have a completely different view of it. I think it's not for me to answer in the sense that first we would need to define what we're talking about. But by and large, when people, in my experience, have referred to the Holy Spirit, I have no idea what they mean even after they explain it. It's if you're asking what's the cause of this, speaking in tongues and flopping around on the ground and all this other stuff, I think we'd have to go back to popular delusions and the extraordinary madness of crowds and other things like that. That there could be any number of explanations. There could be different explanations for different people and in different religions and different experiences from time to time. At best, we'd have to say, we don't know, but you sure can't demonstrate that it was something supernatural.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I think. I'm an atheist, by the way, and my family, they participate. They go to Pentecostal churches. They're pretty much Pentecostal extremists, if you will. And I've seen this type of behavior, but when I look at it, it just doesn't seem right. And it usually happens in a crowd. It's usually not just one individual person.
There's some amount of theater to it, I think. That it's really sort of like keeping up with the Joneses. You have to show that you also have the Holy Spirit or whatever, and you do the song and dance, just for show, so that you kind of fit in. There's some peer pressure, I think, involved with it. And
we already know, I mean, there have been a number of experiments done, some of them, scientifically, and some of them just for laughs on TV, where, for example, I saw one, there's a YouTube clip where there are a bunch of people on an elevator, and they all turn around and face the back of the elevator, except for the one guy who's the test subject, and they see how long he's going to stand there uncomfortable before he, too, turns around and faces the back of the elevator, and he inevitably does. Now, if you take that out of the context of humor, that individual might say that they felt a compulsion to turn around and face the back of the elevator. You see it in sports where you have fans and people are in a heightened state. It's or riots and fights and things like that. Mm-hmm. People do things in crowds that they don't necessarily do individually. So when you put people in a church setting where there's music and excitement, the adrenaline gets pumping, and other people are doing this. My roommate had a friend who was a Pentecostal, and when it came time for him to go up before the congregation and speak in tongues, and he had no idea what he was supposed to do, the pastor leaned over him and said, "Just fake it, we all do." Now, I'm not saying that they all fake it, but in this case, that was the case.
Yeah, that's. I've read all about the scientific experiments, and that just seems to be the only logical explanation to me so far as to what it is.
Okay. Well, you had another question?
No, I forgot the other question, but yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, thanks, Kevin.
You can call back later. Thank you.